This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, an Amber Alert is issued for a baby boy believed to have been taken by his father after a stabbing.
A Suge Knight attends a court hearing over a fatal hit-and-run. Graphic new video surfaces that's believed to show the rap mogul running over two men with his pickup truck.
Another kidnapping attempt on a local college campus. Now a new warning to students. Good evening, I'm Rudabe Shabazi in for Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Ona. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And we have breaking news out of San Pedro. A one-year-old abducted the boy's father, the prime suspect. Authorities say he may be armed, and an Amber Alert has been issued statewide. Eyewitness News reporter Darsha Phillips is live in San Pedro, where she spoke to the boy's mother. Darsha?
David, and that mother understandably distraught at this hour, wanting her little one-year-old boy home. Now, police say they believe that the suspect, the baby's father, may be heading to Mexico or north to Washington. Here's a picture of the father and his one-year-old son. Police believe 37-year-old Giovanni Santiago Enriquez has legal custody of his son, Jaden, and was watching him last night. But sometime around 1:30 a.m., the suspect broke into Jaden's mother's home and stabbed the mother's new boyfriend, severely injuring him. Santiago Enriquez is 37 years old with black hair and brown eyes. He is 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 200 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black beanie, black sweater, black pants, and gray and black Nike shoes. Now, as for his son, little Jaden Nathaniel Santiago is 1 year old with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a light brown and green sweater and a green and brown onesie with stripes and white Nike shoes. Now, Jaden's mother says her son has stayed with his father before, and she doesn't know what brought on this sudden attack.
I'm always like, sure, you're his father, you have the right to see him, But I've always told him, just don't ever take him away from me. Like, if anything, we could fix everything, like, work it out like grown-ups, basically, like two adults.
Now, the vehicle Santiago is driving is a gray 2006 Nissan Altima with California license plate 5UCF010. Now, again, Santiago Enriquez may be armed, and he has expressed to his older son that he is suicidal. If anyone sees him, they are asked to contact police immediately. Live in San Pedro, I'm Darsha Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Darsha, thank you. New video is released that's said to depict rap mogul Suge Knight running over two men in Compton. One of those men was killed. The video comes as Knight faced a judge today. Eyewitness News reporter Robert Olguin was in the courtroom for the hearing.
Wearing glasses and a prisoner uniform, Marion Suge Knight entered an LA County courtroom and agreed to move forward with a new attorney.
Mr. Knight, is that your desire, sir? Yes, sir.
But in court, there was no mention of this recently released surveillance video that appears to show Knight's pickup truck running over two men in a Compton parking lot. The footage was obtained by TMZ. TMZ says the video shows a man walk up to Knight's truck. The driver backs out and knocks that man to the ground. Moments later, the truck speeds away, running over a second man who died as a result of his injuries.
100% it proved that Suge Knight was attacked.
Knight's new attorney spoke to reporters after today's brief court appearance. Matthew Fletcher says the surveillance video exonerates his client because he says it shows that Knight was ambushed.
Suge didn't get out of the car and attack them. They attacked Suge, without question.
Fletcher says the video also shows that one of the men who walked up to Knight was armed with a gun.
I think it's a gun. I think it's a gun.
Prosecutors say Knight intentionally ran over the two men, killing Terry Carter and critically injuring Clee Sloan. It happened on January 29th after what investigators describe as an altercation on the set of a promotional shoot for the film Straight Outta Compton, which was being shot nearby.
Mr. Knight is the victim of a full-on ambush. He is in jail without bail. He needs bail. He needs to be out to fight this case and to prove his innocence.
Knight remains behind bars. He's being held without bail, but that could change. He's due back in court on March 20th for a bail hearing. Reporting from downtown L.A., Robert Olguin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Officials at Cal State San Bernardino are stepping up security after a second kidnap attempt on campus. The latest incident happened Sunday afternoon as a student was walking outside the main library. A few days earlier, another female student reported a man attempted to rape her in the library's stairwell. Both students managed to fight off the attacker. In both cases, the suspect is described as an Hispanic man in his 20s, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, with a thin build. It's unclear if the suspect is the same person in both attacks.
Finals are coming up, and there's still people that are having midterms going on as well. So it's scary knowing that it's happening in the library.
Police officers from other California State University campuses have been brought in to help.
The mixed martial artist who made headlines for tweeting his followers during a standoff is in trouble with the law again. Mayhem Miller, whose real name is Jason Miller, got into a fight with police over the weekend. He's accused of causing a disturbance inside the White House restaurant in Laguna Beach. Miller allegedly kicked and spit on officers when he was being arrested. You may recall Miller got into a standoff with deputies at his Mission Viejo home last October. When he was barricaded inside, he tweeted his followers to come to his house. 2,000 people are arrested in a massive nationwide crime sweep. Immigration and Customs Enforcement released this video. More than 200 of the arrests were in the LA, Orange County, and Inland Empire areas. The operation targeted undocumented immigrants with criminal backgrounds. Many of those have prior convictions for violent crimes, including manslaughter, child molestation, kidnapping, and rape. And 2,700 inmates have been released from California prisons under a ballot measure approved by voters in November. The mass inmate release has taken place over the past 4 months. The new law, known as Proposition 47, reduced some felonies to misdemeanors. It also allowed the state to comply with a court-ordered inmate reduction mandate. However, some law enforcement agencies are reporting a recent increase in crime, and critics of the new law say it is partially to blame. The LA County Sheriff's Department is announcing some changes after a bicyclist is struck and killed by a sheriff's deputy. The deputy had been using an in-car computer at the time of the crash. Eyewitness News reporter Giovanna Lara tells us about the new changes for deputies behind the wheel.
It was in December 2013 that cyclist Milton Olin, a prominent entertainment attorney, was fatally struck by an LA County Sheriff's deputy in Calabasas. The collision happening just as the deputy, Andrew Wood, was typing on his in-car computer, responding to a message he received from dispatch. Now, 15 months later, the LA County Sheriff's Department is implementing a new distracted driving policy that limits the use of in-car computers while deputies are driving.
Our distracted driving efforts have been ongoing.
A panel of about 50 department employees took up the issue of distracted driving last May and came up with several recommendations. The department denies the new policy is directly related to the Milton Olin tragedy, but admits the fatal accident started the conversation.
It's been an ongoing challenge. It did bring the issue into greater focus and helped us refine our thinking on distracted driving.
The new policy requires deputies to use their radios as the primary tool for communication instead of their in-car computers as in the past. And it prohibits deputies from using in-car computers for any administrative purposes while driving.
These recommendations hopefully will serve as, the deputies will be better defensive drivers, they won't be distracted, and ultimately, too, the motoring public will be safer.
In August, the district attorney's office announced it would not file charges against Deputy Andrew Wood because, quote, he was acting within the course and scope of his duties when he typed while driving. Milton Olin's family, in the meantime, has filed a civil lawsuit against the department. At Sheriff's Headquarters, I'm Giovanna Lara, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Developer AEG is abandoning plans for an NFL stadium in downtown Los Angeles. In a statement, AEG said it's no longer in discussion with the NFL or any NFL team. The downtown project, known as Farmers Field, had widespread support from city officials and other boosters, but it never had a team attached. The announcement leaves two contenders for the NFL's return to the area. A stadium in Inglewood proposed in January with the backing of St. Louis Rams owner Stan Kroenke, and a project in Carson announced last month with the joint backing of the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers.
A neighbor saves a man from a burning condo in Simi Valley. The 29-year-old resident was trapped in the condo and ready to jump from the third-story window. John Magana grabbed a 24-foot ladder from his truck and raised it to the window. The man climbed down safely right before the room caught fire. He was checked by paramedics and will be okay. Firefighters knocked down the blaze in about half an hour. They say 3 chihuahuas died in this fire. 1 cat was rescued. The pet was safely returned to the owner. No word on how much damage the fire caused or what started it.
We're hearing from the former lawyer for the father of Mohammed Emwazi, also known as Jihadi John. Salam al-Hashash says there's no evidence proving the masked Islamic State militant is his former client's son. He says he filed slander lawsuits against those circulating the rumors. Meantime, Emwazi has reportedly apologized to his family for the shame he has caused them, although according to those reports, he has not expressed any remorse for his actions. The Washington Post and BBC initially identified Emwazi as the masked man in several ISIS beheading videos. Experts and officials have confirmed that identification.
A group of Republican senators has written an open letter to Iran's leadership telling them that any nuclear deal that they make with President Barack Obama will be null and void once he leaves office unless they approve it. The letter, authored by Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, says that any international treaty must be ratified by a 2/3 Senate vote, which isn't exactly accurate. The president is responsible for negotiating and ratifying treaties. The Senate can take up a resolution of ratification, which must pass with a 2/3 majority, but that's a separate matter from treaty negotiation. Meantime, the White House has rebuked the senator, saying this is a legitimate interference in the president's foreign policy.
It's not about me. It's not about the 47 senators who signed this deal. It is about stopping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
I would describe this letter as the continuation of a partisan strategy to undermine the president's ability to conduct foreign policy.
Iran's foreign minister has dismissed the letter as a propaganda ploy. President Obama and negotiators are trying to strike an initial deal by the end of March to limit Iran's nuclear programs.
Up next, a fraternity under fire. New backlash after a controversial video that apparently shows members of one Oklahoma University fraternity shouting racist chants. Plus this.
I remember hearing a voice. It didn't sound like a child.
First responders pull a baby from frigid waters more than 12 hours after a crash. The voice that urged them to spring to action.
Cinderella goes from animation to live action. I'm George Pinocchio, and tonight's Hollywood Wrap, the Oscar-winning actress who takes on the role of Cinderella's evil stepmother. An interview with Kate Blanchett next.
Hi there, I'm Danny Romero in for Jonathan Novak, and we're looking at a little change in our weather. I'll tell you about that with the 7-day forecast coming up.
The University of Oklahoma has shut down a fraternity and told members they have until midnight tomorrow to get out of the house. It's all a result of an online video of frat members participating in a racist chant. ABC's Karen Travers has the disturbing details.
Students and staff gathered on the University of Oklahoma campus before dawn in a peaceful protest.
20 years I have not seen anything that has so deeply troubled me as this.
The university president is referring to this shocking video, appearing to show members of the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity chanting a racial slur and indicating that African Americans would never be admitted to their fraternity. The video was reportedly shot this Saturday and posted on YouTube by an organization called Unheard, an alliance of African American students. It's unclear how it was obtained. Overnight, the national chapter of SAE shut down the Oklahoma chapter, saying in a statement, "We apologize for the unacceptable and racist behavior of the individuals in the video, and we are disgusted that any member would act in such a way."
But I think the strongest thing we can do right now is express our basic values, condemn what has happened in the strongest possible terms.
Vandals struck the fraternity on Sunday after the video went viral and quickly spread across the campus community.
We're deeply outraged and disturbed by the incidents that took place.
But others say they don't want this incident to represent their school.
Learn from it, grow from it, and build a rich community and unify.
Oklahoma's president says all ties between the university and SAE have been severed. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Incredible new details are surfacing about a river rescue that saved the life of a toddler in Spanish Fork, Utah.
Do they look like they're moving at all?
No, they don't. It's upside down, the top's twisted, and there's water in there.
A fisherman called 911 to report an arm hanging out of a car submerged in icy water. That driver, 25-year-old Jennifer Grossbeck, was killed when the car plunged off a bridge Friday night. First responders were shocked to find her 18-month-old daughter 14 hours later hanging upside down in her car seat. But that wasn't their only surprise.
Felt like I could hear somebody telling me they needed help, something that I felt like I could hear.
I remember hearing a voice. It didn't sound like a child, just saying, "Help me."
Someone said, "Help me," inside that car, and I think it was DeWitt there that said, we're trying our best to get in there.
Well, all the men agreed that they did hear that voice. They then flipped the car and pulled the baby from the 40-degree water. 3 officers and 4 firefighters were treated for hypothermia. Amazingly, that baby is improving and is expected to recover.
A celebration today to commemorate LA County's Safe Surrender program. County Supervisor Don Knabe dedicated the Garden of Life with the unveiling of a plaque in downtown LA. More than 30 Safe Surrender families helped plant flowers in the garden. They enjoyed pizza and cupcakes afterwards in Grand Park. The garden is in recognition of the 125 newborns who have been safely surrendered in the county.
Wow, great story. In the meantime, Danny Romero joins us right now in for Jonathan Novak about her very warm but beautiful weather. Hey, Danny.
Really quite nice over the weekend, David, in Ruta Bay. And we're talking about a little bit of a cool down for a couple of days, but then if you like the warmth, hang on, it's coming back. Here's our look outside the Long Beach camera. Live in an HD here on a Monday night. Our downtown skies looking pretty clear. And also on the cooler side, but nothing bad at all. 65 degrees our temperature. Calm winds at the moment. 61% relative humidity and a barometer. Holding steady now at 29.87. Today our normal temp is 70. We're a little bit above that at 73. Not like those 80s we saw over the weekend. Sunset, 6:56, and then tomorrow morning, sun rising up at 7:11 to get your Tuesday going. Here's how things are changing somewhat. Look ahead now tonight into tomorrow. That high still in place, but watch as it breaks down. We get a little bit more of an onshore flow tomorrow morning, some clouds, even some fog in some beach locations. And then Wednesday, a little energy moves through, mainly to our mountain areas. We'll get some precipitation that could squeeze out a shower or two, mountain areas only. But then beyond that, we'll see that high build right back in again. So as we head towards Thursday, Friday in the weekend, that high is strong. Offshore flow, some winds kick up, and temperatures jump back up to the 80s and 90s in many spots. Here's our numbers tonight. A comfortable 45 for Apple Valley, a 34 for Lancaster, 53 for Redondo Beach. Now tomorrow, warm inland, but not blazing hot, 82 for Santa Clarita. Cooler on the coast, 72 for Redondo Beach, and also for Malibu, with Covina topping off at 82. Inland to 84 for Riverside and Beaumont. And Palm Springs going to 89. Looking ahead now, watch the changes on our 7-day power back weather. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, still pushing 80 degrees tomorrow. Then that cool down Wednesday to 74, still above normal. And then here we go, right back up to 79, and then another big jump in the heat. Friday into the weekend, there's that 90-degree mark for LA Metro Orange County on Saturday, and into Sunday still upper 80s there. For the valleys and the Inland Empire, a sunny, warm day tomorrow. Then the temps fall about 10 degrees, but that's still 75. Only for a day, because then the heating starts right back up on Thursday. And then by Friday and Saturday, look at that, 90s once again. So another hot weekend is on the way, taking us into next Monday as well. The beaches will start out cloudy with some fog, and then some partly cloudy skies. Cooler on Wednesday, then here comes some sunshine in the afternoon to warm things up to 73, and then jumping to 83 and staying there in the 80s, taking that into the weekend. Mountain areas will have that one day Wednesday with a chance, about a 20% chance of a scant shower or two. But the cool temps there in the 50s, and then we see 60s for the weekend. Sunny, clear with a little breezy condition on Friday and Saturday. For the high desert, sunny skies, a little cooler on Wednesday, and then warming up on Thursday to 75, jumping to 78. Another bump up on the weekend. We see 80s for Saturday and Sunday. Enjoy that. David and Ruderbay, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Danny.
Yep.
In tonight's Hollywood Wrap, what a two-time Oscar winner is saying about becoming a Disney villain.
She plays her evil role with plenty of glamour. And here's George Finocchio with all the details.
A lot of people looking forward to seeing this movie. Cinderella is Disney's next big film. And Kate Blanchett is channeling plenty of nasty to play Cinderella's elegant but oh so evil stepmother.
She gets with the prince in the end.
Kate Blanchett is a realist when it comes to knowing the basic story of Cinderella has been around forever. But for this newest live-action version of the classic fairy tale, they dig just a little bit deeper.
She'll merely be your stepmother, and you'll have two lovely sisters to keep you company. So I'll know, as far away as I may be, that you'll be safe.
The characters have a three-dimensional quality. You understand what's motivating the baddies. You understand the relationship with the so-called goodies.
Wouldn't you prefer to eat when all the work is done, Ella? Yes, stepmother. Oh, you needn't call me that. Madam will do.
Normally, the stepmother, her first name is Wicked. Whereas at least I have Lady Tremaine. She has a name.
What on earth have you been doing?
Dreaming, that's all. Well then, wake up.
Kate, the mother of 4, isn't worried that kids might be frightened by her evil role.
Ragged servant girl is what you are, and that is what you will always be.
She thinks it's good to let children know we all sometimes experience bad things in the world.
Because we're telling to be kind, share, have courage, all those things Cinderella, is told and does. And I think that they need to exercise their bad side, because we all have it. That it's okay, you can be forgiven, which is ultimately the end message of the film.
Cinderella will be in theaters on Friday, and tonight at 11 on ABC7, I'll talk with the stars who play Cinderella and her prince. And Lily James, who plays Cinderella, has an interesting story about that glass slipper.
Oh.
Getting a lot of attention.
Yep.
Very great. Thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
Up next, 2 California women arrested for vandalizing Italy's ancient Colosseum.
Plus, a big announcement today from Apple and a first look at the Apple Watch.
And the curious incident of the dog and the poison. One of the world's most famous dog shows is marred by the shocking death of a prized Irish setter. It is the announcement techies have been waiting for. Today, Apple revealed new details about the highly anticipated Apple Watch. The watch seen in this handout video from Apple can be paired with an iPhone, and users can get calls through the watch. You can also use the watch to get through security at the airport, meaning you don't have to carry a boarding pass or pull it up on your phone. There are 3 versions of the watch, with the lowest priced version starting at $349. The most expensive version is made of 18-karat solid gold and starts at $10,000. The gadgets hit stores April 24th.
2 California tourists are in trouble with the law for allegedly vandalizing part of the Colosseum in Rome. The women, ages 21 and 25, were arrested for carving their initials into the brick wall at the ancient Roman site. La Repubblica tweeted out this photo, which reportedly shows the vandalism with the women's initials, J and N. Italian media reports the women snapped a selfie with their initials before they were arrested. They are facing charges of aggravated damage to the monument. Police say the women have apologized for their actions.
Well, we are updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30.
Including banning the American flag on the UC campus. A local student council made it happen before the decision was overturned. Now state lawmakers are stepping in.
Plus, a man being held by immigration for 5 years. Today, his friends say he's done nothing wrong. Ahead on Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Breaking news at 7:30, an Amber Alert has been issued for a 1-year-old boy believed to have been taken by his father after a stabbing in San Pedro. I'm David Ono.
I'm Rudabe Shabazi in for Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Police are searching for 1-year-old Jaden Santiago and his father, 37-year-old Giovanni Santiago Enriquez. Police believe the elder Santiago took the child after stabbing the child's mother's new boyfriend early this morning. The suspect, Giovanni Santiago Enriquez, is described as a Hispanic male, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, 200 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black sweater, blue pants, and Nike shoes, and he could be armed. The child, Jaden, is described as about 24 inches tall, 26 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes and was last seen wearing a brown and green sweater, a brown and green onesie with stripes, and Nike shoes. Authorities say the suspect is driving a gray 2006 Nissan Altima with license plate number 5UCF010 and could be headed to Washington State or Mexico. If you see that car or the suspect, you're asked to call Los Angeles Police at 1-877-LAPD 24/7.
Rap mogul Suge Knight heads to court as graphic new video surfaces that's believed to show him running over 2 men with his pickup truck. A lawyer for Knight says the video posted by website TMZ shows that the men attacked Knight before he ran over them in Compton. Authorities allege that Knight intentionally ran over the men, killing one of the men and seriously injuring the other. Meantime, Knight was in court today and agreed to move forward with a new attorney, but there was no mention of the new video.
In an effort to ban flags from a building on the UC Irvine campus, a state lawmaker is fighting back. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Frere has the latest details on this flag controversy.
The U.S. flag back on display in the lobby of the student government offices at UC Irvine.
It actually makes me happy, because everybody has the right to say if this should be up, and most people want it to be up.
Last week, 6 members of the Student Legislative Council passed a bill that banned hanging any flag from any country in the lobby area. The ban's author said it would help foster a culturally inclusive space. The flag came down, the controversy heated up on campus and through social media.
I fought 30 years for my country, and I believe that the flag stands for liberty, freedom, and it should be able to fly wherever it likes to, especially on a campus that's supported by taxpayer dollars.
The campus called the legislation misguided. Last Saturday, after discussing the importance of freedom of speech, the Student Council's executive cabinet threw out the ban.
I heard it got vetoed, though, so I'm pretty happy with that.
The student body president, who was against the ban, says the controversy helped promote debate, but also led to many students feeling attacked.
We just really want to be able to move on from this and learn, and at the same time make sure that the campus is able to heal.
Even though the American flag is back up, Senator Janet Wynn and fellow state Republican lawmakers say they will introduce a constitutional amendment to prohibit publicly funded universities from banning the U.S. flag.
I'm okay with it. I don't want something else like this happening again and making us look dumb.
Now, a legislative council meeting is expected to get underway here at UC Irvine starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, it could override the veto with a 2/3 vote. It's not clear if that's going to happen. The only thing certain for now is there are a lot of people who want to speak before council. They're expecting about 2 hours of public comment. In Irvine, Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We're getting our first look at surveillance photos of a robbery suspect wanted for 2 holdups in Fountain Valley. Take a look. This is the man police say robbed a Rite Aid store on February 17th, getting away with an undisclosed amount of cash. They say the suspect is also responsible for robberies at an Albertsons earlier that month in which he displayed a handgun. Anyone who recognizes the man is asked to call Fountain Valley Police. An Oxnard man is arrested after investigators say they caught him in the act of taking thousands of dollars in merchandise from a local shoe store. The Ventura County Sheriff's Department said the deputies were responding to an alarm at the Red Wing shoe store. They found a window smashed and Rodrigo Cruz inside. Store managers say $3,500 of merchandise had been taken. Cruz is set to be arraigned tomorrow.
The family of a Salvadorian immigrant who's been in prison for 5 years are demanding his release. The U.S. government says he's a criminal, but his family says it's all a big mistake. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda explains.
Es muy duro estar 5 años de ver a sus hijos.
Carlos Morales says it's been difficult for his brother, who hasn't been able to be with his children for 5 years.
Raul Ernesto Morales was arrested by immigration officials back in 2010.
The United States government falsely stated that he had committed a crime prior to his arrival in the United States, and that is a total falsehood.
Carrillo believes the U.S. government is trying to cover up a mistake, and officials then came up with new allegations, this time that Morales committed crimes after he arrived in the U.S. The government says it received an alert from the international police agency, Interpol, saying Morales hired and directed individuals to assassinate 4 people in El Salvador back in 2008.
None of that is true. We have never seen any evidence that would prove that he was part of any alleged conspiracy to commit any crime.
Morales is being held at the Adelanto Detention Center. His attorneys say their biggest complaint is that so far they haven't been able to get the proper hearings for their client.
He has been detained for over 5 years without any criminal charges. We have sought every kind of relief on his behalf, both asylum, temporary protective status. They've denied him review after review, and they said that he's actually had a fair bond hearing when he is not.
Carlos Morales worries that at any moment his brother could be deported.
Yo presiento de que hasta pueden quitarle la vida a él llegando allá.
He fears Raul Ernesto Morales would be killed if he's sent back to El Salvador. ICE today released a statement saying, as we have always underscored, violent criminals who believe they can evade justice by fleeing to the United States should be on notice that they will find no refuge here. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A woman who lost her leg took the stand in the Boston Marathon bombings trial. Jessica Kinsky testified from her wheelchair that she and her husband were near the finish line when the bombs went off. They each lost a leg at the bombings. Eventually, she had to have her other leg amputated as well. Meantime, jurors watched a video of what prosecutors say showed the movements of the 2 bombers before and after the 2 explosions. Suspected bomber Johar Tsarnaev is accused of detonating the bombs along with his brother Tamerlan, who was killed in a getaway attempt days after.
The NTSB plans to speak with Harrison Ford about his small plane crash last week near the Santa Monica airport. There's still no clear indication what caused the engine failure Thursday that forced Ford to make an emergency landing of his World War II-era light plane that he was piloting at Penmar Golf Course in Venice. Meantime, the 72-year-old continues to improve. He underwent surgery for a broken ankle and pelvis at UCLA Medical Center in Westwood.
Southern California beaches were a popular spot over the weekend, and one beachgoer captured video of a shark swimming just off the Manhattan Beach Pier. Alicia Stevenson shot this video yesterday, sent it to us on Twitter using the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness. We want to thank Alicia, and remember, you could send us your video or pictures anytime simply by using the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness. In England, a death by poison at one of the world's most genteel events, the famous Crufts Dog Show. A champion Irish setter was apparently fed tainted meat there, and the dog's owner is now brokenhearted after losing not just their show dog, but a member of the family. ABC's Lama Hassan was in London with the mystery tonight.
Very smart-looking lineup.
The murder mystery has stunned and horrified what is billed as the world's largest dog show. This 3-year-old Irish setter at the center of it all.
The autopsy showed very clearly that there were cubes of meat in his tummy that were laced with poison.
Just a day after competing at Crufts, Jagger suddenly collapsed and died at home.
Please now let us grieve the loss of our lovely Jagger.
The vet's autopsy concluding it was deliberate. With a competition so fierce at dog shows like Crufts and Westminster, the question is, would someone actually poison a dog to gain the advantage? His owners believe it was foul play, but not from a competitor.
We can't and we won't think this was an act of another exhibitor.
But tonight, at least one more breeder at the show is complaining her dog was also sickened, just deepening the mystery of what happened here and why. Lama Hassan, ABC News, London.
Well, up next, startling new information about our measles outbreak.
And a Veterans Affairs worker accused of making fun of the very patients she was supposed to be helping when they returned from the battlefield.
Hi there, I'm Danny Romero in for Jonathan Novak, and we have a little cool down coming our way. But for how long? I'll tell you with the 7-day coming up in a bit.
Startling new information on our measles outbreak. 15 years ago, measles was considered eradicated in this country, but in just the past year, there have been more than 640 cases in the U.S. And now researchers say they fear that more outbreaks are inevitable. With pockets of unvaccinated people, all it takes is one who is infected to start a new outbreak. Researchers at Johns Hopkins say as rates of vaccine refusals increase, so does the risk of spreading the disease. The authors say many Americans have never seen the measles and don't appreciate how dangerous complications can be or how deadly the disease itself is.
Stunning emails uncovered at a VA hospital in Indianapolis. A manager is now accused of mocking veterans in her care, veterans she had sworn to help when they returned from war. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
In a December email obtained by the Indianapolis Star, Robin Paul, a manager at the VA's Transitional Clinic for Returning Veterans, sent her staff these pictures. In this one, a toy elf pleads for Xanax, used to treat anxiety and panic. The caption says the elf is self-medicating for mental health issues because he couldn't get a prescription. Then there is this. The elf appears to hang himself in an electrical cord. Caught in the act of suicidal behavior, says the caption. The photos surface as the VA itself estimates 22 military veterans commit suicide every day. Critics say it's another black mark on an agency mired in scandal, accused of hiding unacceptably long wait times for patient care. That cost the VA secretary his job.
All we want from the VA to do is to be able to fix what's broken, to hold employees appropriately accountable, and to help restore the faith of veterans in their VA healthcare system. And this one employee, this one supervisor, she violated all three of those.
Paul says, I take full responsibility for this poor judgment. I have put my heart and soul into my work with veterans for many years. The VA won't say if Paul has been fired, only saying the matter has been handled. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
Well, get ready for a change in our weather. Danny Romero has his complete forecast coming up next.
Let's call it an early Christmas present. A Southern California holiday classic could be making a comeback. The annual Wisteria Festival is this Sunday in Sierra Madre, and today we got a sneak peek at the festival's main attraction. It's this giant wisteria vine. The Guinness Book of World Records has certified it as the world's largest blossoming plant. It's been in Sierra Madre since 1894, making it 121 years old. Wow. It weighs 250 tons and spans over an acre.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Are those people having a picnic under it?
Might as well. It's beautiful out there.
Live under that.
Sierra Madre, that's an old, beautiful, gorgeous, traditional
neighborhood. Yeah,
it's
really nice for us. Weather's perfect for it, too. Great. Sunshine all around. I mean, you're growing your plants, growing anything you want. Certainly a lot of sunshine over the area, and we're going to stay with that, although a bit cooler for a couple of days. I'll take you outside, see how things looking here on our Monday night. We have our live AC camera working at Laguna Beach. And Laguna looking pretty good. Now, there will be some clouds moving in later on tonight on many coastal locations. Could even get some pretty thick fog in some of those beach areas. So watch for that tonight into tomorrow morning. But right now, skies are clear over downtown L.A., and there we're looking at 65 degrees. Calm winds right now and 61% relative humidity, and our barometer holding steady now at 29.87. Today, our temps range from really cool at the coastal areas, Hawthorne at 66 for the afternoon high, up to 77 in Yorba Linda, then Beaumont, Northridge, and Woodland Hills all went into the 80s with 80, 81, and 83 degrees for Woodland Hills there. A nice warm day inland. Same kind of pattern tomorrow because of this. The marine layer on the coastal spots, keeping those areas pretty cool and below average. But inland spots will still get a lot of sunshine. No real push in that marine layer. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, same idea. On the coast, we'll see some clouds and fog. But inland, all this high-pressure ridge giving us that offshore flow, breaking down somewhat for a couple of days to let some of that moisture in. Some could get to our mountain spots. We could see a trough drop in that brings us a squeezing out, a little shower or two in the mountain areas on Wednesday. Other than that, we're going to stay pretty good and then warm up again as that high-pressure ridge builds in strong once again about Thursday into the weekend. Here's numbers tonight down in the 50s in Pasadena and Covina. Colder, though, in Palmdale at 39. And then tomorrow we're going to get up to 76 in Palmdale, to 82 in Santa Clarita, and also for Pasadena, looking at the beach temps at 72 for Redondo Beach, and Huntington Beach at 76, Irvine 76 as well. Now look ahead to the 7-day and look at the numbers change. We stay on that cooler side on Wednesday especially, the coolest day of the week, down at 74, still above average highs. And then warming up again. Thursday into Friday, 79, bumping up to the 80s, and yes, 90 degrees for a high on the weekend. Look into the valleys and the Inland Empire, sunny and warm couple of days. A little bit less warm on Wednesday with temps in the 70s and then back up to the 80s. And then here comes that hot weekend I'm talking about to the 90s Friday, Saturday, and take that into Sunday and Monday as well. The beaches are going to start foggy tomorrow morning, but sunshine later in the day. Partly cloudy skies for Wednesday, cooler day there. And then here comes the clouds moving out early, sunshine working earlier, and we get up to the 80s. Take those temps on the beaches, 84 for a high on Saturday. Mountain areas will be sunny and cool. And then that chance of showers I mentioned on Wednesday, but gone pretty quickly by Thursday. We warm things back up to the 60s, a nice sunny, cool week ahead and into the weekend as well. The high desert will have sunshine, a little cooling down on Wednesday, and then the warming starts on Thursday. Take that into Friday, and then by Saturday and Sunday, some breezy conditions, and then the winds very nice and mild, but the temps up to the 80s, so sunshine back again next weekend. David and Ruta Bay, go ahead.
Thank you, Dallas. Danny.
It happens
I do it every
sometimes,
time.
you know?
They have the same initials. That's what really messes me up. The Clippers are back in action after their loss up in the Bay Area. Tonight, though, things get a little easier as they host the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are the worst team in the Western Conference, and we'll have full highlights tonight when it seems at 11 p.m. on ABC7. Elsewhere, how does the saying go? Close but no cigar seems to be a running theme with the Lakers of late as they once again collapsed late, this time to Dallas. The Mavs closed the game on a 16-3 run, and the inexperienced purple and gold could not recover. L.A. has now dropped their last 5 games by a combined 28 points, and the team knows they need to learn to finish strong.
It's just our experience, you know, coming together with a group. Being able to make plays towards the end, as well as move the ball, because, you know, guys want to be aggressive and try to make the play, but, you know, we just got to continue to move the ball.
I feel like we're getting better at it. I feel like we've dropped a few that we've had in our range. We held the game in our hands, especially like the last 2, but we're getting to the point now where we're actually in those games at those times, and now we just have to learn how to just close them.
Dodgers with an early spring rivalry game taking on the Giants. Scoreless in the 4th. Yasiel Puig changes that with a swing of the bat, rocketing the 2-run shot to the left center seats. his first of the spring. Big Blue gave up a 5 spot in the 5th inning, but came back to knot things up in the 8th inning when Scott Van Slyke singles home top prospect Corey Seager from second base. Just his second hit of the spring. This one ends in a tie, 5-all the final. Andrew Haney was briefly a Dodger before being sent to the Angels in the Howie Kendrick deal. The young lefty pitched 3 innings and gave up 1 run in a start today against the Reds. After the Angels took a 5-4 lead, Cincy's Juan Duran hits a laser to right field that exited the field so fast the TV camera couldn't even pick it up. It's a walk-off game-winning 3-run homer as the Reds beat the Angels 7-5 today in Goodyear, Arizona. And with just a day before NFL free agency set to open, San Francisco linebacker Patrick Willis is expected to announce his retirement tomorrow after 8 seasons in the Bay Area. The 30-year-old played in just 6 games last season before suffering a season-ending toe injury which required surgery. Willis was an All-Pro his first 7 years in the league, a feat only outdone by Lawrence Taylor and Derek Thomas, and he helped the 49ers to 3 NFC championships from 2011 to 2013.
The once popular Santa's Village in Lake Arrowhead is being brought back to life. There's an effort to restore the attraction to its 1950s splendor. Here's Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan.
The gate is locked, the parking lot is empty, and inside Santa's Village looks more like a ghost town.
Before it closed, I wanted to take my grandchildren here. Never had the opportunity.
But Curtis Newman, like many of us, has a lot of memories here. This is what it looked like way back when, with shopping, animals, and rides. These are pictures of me at Santa's Village in the early 1980s. But the fun would soon come to an end. Money problems forced the place to shut down in 1998.
When they originally closed down the park, in order to pay off debts and stuff, they sold all the rides.
However, most of the buildings are still in good shape.
I mean, things like the bakery hasn't changed.
And now project manager Bill Johnson is spearheading an effort to bring Santa's Village back with a twist.
We'll probably have archery in the park, shooting galleries.
Instead of an amusement park, this time around, he says it'll be more like an outdoor adventure park.
Zip lines have become real popular, so we have a fantastic zip line coming.
For those who can remember the old monorail bumblebee ride, well, that's not coming back. At least not in the way you probably remember it.
It will be a pedal power bike.
And Johnson says this is also the perfect setting for camping, hiking, and mountain biking.
This Santa's Village will be a little bit more updated for a bigger range of the families.
And what do you want for Christmas this year?
Will Santa be here?
Santa will be here.
Okay.
Yeah, Santa will be here. It will be Santa's Village.
Johnson's original plan was to be open by this spring, but he says more realistically, he'll be open by the end of the year. In Sky Forest, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
That's exciting news.
Yeah, open that thing just before Christmas. That'd be awesome.
Looks like fun. More news straight ahead here at 7:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Does she look nearly 9 months pregnant? This ripped SoCal mom creating a social media storm. Plus, the new live-action version of Cinderella. Tonight, what the star is revealing about her glass slippers and what her prince has to say about being part of the classic story. All these stories and the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is coming up next on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a great night.
This is ABC7 Weather with Danny Romero.
Well, a lot of sunshine today, a little bit cooler than it has been the last few days. Still